Look, if you're doing 3 sets of 10 or 4 sets of 12 or whatever it is, you're doing it wrong. And I'm going to explain why on this whiteboard in a second. Now, this graph at the top, you've got to understand that there's a relationship between your performance level and your fatigue. Okay, so just stick with me and it will make sense in a minute. When your fatigue is low, so at this end of the graph, your performance is very high. As soon as your fatigue goes up, your performance naturally comes down, and it will be something, obviously, you know, it's not to scale, but it will be something along the lines of what that graph would look like. A rapid drop off in performance, and then as you get to a high level of fatigue, you can't really go much lower. It will just sort of like level out. Now, we obviously all inherently know that. So then when we apply that to our actual rep ranges, if you look at the bottom graph, like let's say you're doing a lift and you're lifting 90 kilos on set 1, set 2, set 3, and whatever reps you're getting X amount of reps. So let's say on set 1, you plot the graph, you get 90 kilos, on set 2 you get 90 kilos, set 3 you get 90 kilos, and you've got this line here, right? But then we've just realised that performance is based on fatigue. We realise that your performance graph is actually like this, and we go, actually, well maybe on set 1, when I have no fatigue, I actually probably could have done 100. And then when fatigue got a bit higher, my performance dropped a little bit, so now it was at 90. When fatigue went up again, you were actually able to do 85. Oh, fuck the line up there. And then we get a line more like this. And we go, okay, now we look at those two lines and we think, right, what's the difference between those two lines? Your volume and the level of load that you've lifted. Here, on set 1, you had extra 10 kilos that you could have lifted, you could have given so much more on that set, you got so much more stimulus. In fact, if we actually draw it out, you're missing all of this area on the graph that you didn't get because you underloaded it, because you wanted to do 90 kilos for all sets. And you know, yeah, technically on these final sets here, on this final set, you've got a little bit of benefit here, technically with volume load and, you know, stimulus and additional load that you would have lifted on set 3. But the thing that we've got to understand is it's not just the missed opportunity here. It's also the fact that you realise, right, if I was able to do 90 kilos for 10 reps on set 3 when my fatigue was here, then I must have been able to do fucking 15, 20 when fatigue was down here and performance was up here. So we're actually not only losing out on all of this opportunity to lift more load and get more stimulus, more mechanical tension, but you're actually so far away from failure on the first 2 sets if you're keeping the same load and same reps, and you're able to do that on the third set. You shouldn't be able to do that, because that means that there was no real fatigue generated here. You won't have actually pushed it that hard. And so set 1 and set 2 essentially become a waste. They essentially become warm-up sets for set 3, so you're only really having one hard set, which is probably one of the reasons why you're not growing at the pace that you want. So understanding that performance drops off as fatigue increases, you've got to understand that your loading has to be appropriate to that, so you can, number 1, actually expose yourself to higher loads, get more mechanical tension, but most importantly, not waste the first few sets on the same load that you could do on set 3 when you have more fatigue. If you could do that on set 3, you could have done fucking loads more on set 1, so do it, you will get more growth.